All right, what's going on?
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. So if you want to introduce who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Balderas. I'm broker owner of Modern Milwaukee Real Estate, locally owned full-service real estate firm. Been in the business for about 14 years. I got licensed in 2007, and it was kind of a roller coaster, on and off, working regular jobs and doing real estate at the same time. But in 2012, almost about 10 years ago, I've been full-time since then.
I know before you became a broker, you were a realtor, right?
Yeah.
So how hard is the realtor quiz?
It's more of the multiple choice. It's not so clear as to like there's one right answer and three wrong ones. There's probably one right answer and two that'll make you think if it's the right answer or not. So it gets kind of tricky. But anybody who's used to schoolwork and testing and stuff like that, it should be pretty simple for them.
Okay. And what would you recommend for a new realtor to be able to succeed?
In my shoes, I didn't have kind of a mentor that kind of guided me and fed me business and stuff like that. I kind of just built myself up around my own network and built my reputation as the years came along. But I would definitely, for sure, somebody new right now, take advantage of your circle of influence, people that you know, all your contacts, your friends and family. And there's tons of ways to market nowadays versus when I started with social media, even in free or paid for advertisements. So I definitely take advantage of that.
All right. And how much would I, as a consumer, pay a realtor to help me buy a house?
For buying a house, usually there's no fee that you pay a realtor. Some realtors may charge a buyer agency fee. That can vary, but most of us don't. I don't, unless if it's a situation where an investor is looking for a low-priced property, and a low-priced property means a smaller commission for me, and they want to go look at 10, 15, 20 houses, and then I may require an extra fee for that. But 99% of the time, buyers do not pay any fee. The realtor works for free for them.
Okay. So how much would I pay a realtor to help me sell a house?
That can vary on the brokerage that you choose. I myself, personally, I charge 5%. Some people charge 6 or 7. Some charge a lot less, 3s into the 4s and 2s, and it ends up being one of those kind of where you pay for what you get kind of thing. So you don't want to go, it's not always about going for the cheapest, broker that'll charge you the least.
Okay. Could you please explain the difference between a realtor, a real estate agent, and a broker?
So a state of Wisconsin licensed real estate salesperson, you just have your license to sell real estate in the state of Wisconsin. If you want to become a realtor, you have to join the association, which involves more fees, basically yearly fees. That enables you to put homes on the market, the MLS, the multiple listing service. And then the difference between being a broker and that is that you can open up your own company and name it what you want, and you can have realtors under you that work for you in a sense as independent contractors.
So how do you become a broker?
You just take additional courses and a test. It's a little bit similar to the realtor one. There's just some more information on there you have to learn, but it's the same process.
Could you explain it step by step of how to become a broker?
Well, first you'd have to take the test, take the courses, the 72 hours to become a realtor. Then after you're a realtor, you pay for your license, you pay your dues to become a realtor. And I believe now, I could be mistaken, but the rule is you have to be a realtor for 2 years and have a certain amount of transactions. So after that's up, then you kind of just do the process again. You go and take the broker courses, the broker exam, pay for the license, and then pay to be in the association if you're not already. And then you have, since you're opening up a business, you have other stuff. You need to go create your LLC and, you know, your email and your website and your phone number and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Now, there are a lot of people that try wholesaling.
Yeah.
What do you think about wholesaling?
Wholesaling is a good way to get into the business. I think a lot of people do it and they may not know what they're doing, or they see other people or infomercials about it and they want to jump on the bandwagon. It's basically you're putting a home under contract for X amount of dollars, and then you're basically selling that contract to somebody else for a profit. So you don't have to be licensed to do it, but you know, you do want to do it with ethics and stuff, and make sure you do everything correctly and everything, because it could come back and haunt you or whatever, if you want to say, if you do things wrong on a transaction. But it's a good way for people to get into the business and make money. I think the tough part is just finding the deals. I think a lot of people think they found a deal and then they try to share it and get buyers, and it's not really anything that makes sense for an investor.
So what's the difference between a wholesaler and a realtor?
Well, a realtor, I would sell your home for you for a commission. You have to be licensed to be able to do that. I would put on the market, put a sign on it, and so forth. And as a realtor helping you buy a home, I would represent you and get paid a commission from the seller. A wholesaler can't do that. A wholesaler is just basically going to buy the property from person A, and they're going to go sell it to person B without doing anything to the property at all. So they may find a family member or a neighbor of their grandmother who's selling a house for $40,000. They will go buy it and then flip it immediately to somebody who's going to pay $50,000 for it and make a profit, and that's basically it, and walk away.
Okay. So in order to be a wholesaler, you would need a hard money lender, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. If you plan on actually buying the property, it gets kind of tricky to explain, but you can make an offer on a property for $40,000 cash and have the person that you're going to sell it to for $50,000 cash. Basically, you can use their money to buy it for the 40, and then when you do your second closing with them, you would you take your profit. Or you can also assign, they call it, but it's basically where you sell your offer. Like, hey, I have this home for sale for $40,000. I'm gonna buy it, but I'll sell you my contract for $10,000. So basically, that person's paying $50,000, and they would pay you your assignment fee of $10,000, and then pay $40,000 for the home, and then that's it.
Okay, so what is the difference between a traditional lender and a hard money lender?
Traditional lenders, meaning banks, just they go through the whole process. They check your credit, they check your income, they check your taxes, and then they'll approve you for the type of loan there may be, FHA or conventional, and then they'll you don't have to do an inspection. That's up to you, but you have to get an appraisal done, and that whole process can take 20 to 45 days. A hard money lender is a private cash lender, basically somebody with lots of cash that is going to lend you money to fix a property or whatnot, buy and fix a home and flip it, and they're going to lend you at very high interest rates.
Okay, so if I was going to buy a home, could you explain the process from start to finish?
Traditionally, using a realtor before even going looking with your realtor, and this is important, is to go to the bank and see what you're approved for. Check what your budget is and stuff, and then once they let you know you're approved for 100, 150, 200, whatever that is, then you go to a realtor and you show them the pre-approval letter. You let them know what you're looking for, the detail and the specifics, and then you just go house hunting from there. And then after you get an accepted offer on a home, the next steps are inspection, the appraisal, and then the closing.
Okay. And then going back to using a traditional lender, how does the commission work between a realtor and a broker?
So if I'm a broker and let's say you're an agent in my office and you close a transaction and the commission check is $5,000, the commission check is not made out to you. It's made out to the company. And then whatever agreement we have that we made when you joined the company, whatever that split is, whether it be 50-50 or 90-10, then I would take the check and then cut you another one after taking out my cut or percentage of whether it be 10, 20, 30, 40%.
Okay. Can you explain what makes the real estate market go up and down, and what are the positives and negatives of both?
Well, I guess market going up, in my opinion, would mean that prices are higher. When I got in the business, I sold a lot of foreclosures, so it was a busy time for me. But people would say the market's slow, the market's down, I guess for them, or I guess because the values are lower. But I was busy myself as a realtor, so I didn't see that impact. But I guess the things that can affect it are the banks and the interest rates, people that are working or not. Obviously, something drastic happening, with the economy, whether it be some type of pandemic or something like a terrorist attack or something. I don't know. Stuff like that can happen randomly and affect things. But it's either always a buyer or a seller's market. It's either a good time to buy or it's a good time to sell.
Okay. So seeing the economy today and the inflation rates, what do you see the housing market in about 5 years?
It's hard to say. I mean, if nothing random happens, I would say that the home values will stop rising and kind of just level off, and it'll balance out between the market, between the buyers and sellers. If more foreclosures hit the market, then that could have an effect on the surrounding homes and their value, because real estate is all about comparisons. So if all these homes in this neighborhood are worth $150,000, and maybe you have a couple foreclosures that sell for $100,000, that may not affect it much. But if you start having 40% of the homes are foreclosures and they're selling for under $100,000, then that's going to bring the price down of everybody in the area. But I don't really see that many coming. Who knows with the changes on the eviction laws now. So I think they're processing a lot of evictions and foreclosures now that those have been lifted. So it's kind of tough to say.
Okay. If I'm a first-time home buyer, how long would it take for me to purchase a home?
If you're past the approval part, it just depends on if you know what you're looking for and you're decisive, and if you have a good realtor that's available. In this market, it's still a seller's market, and you definitely want to be able to, something comes up on the market, you definitely want to just get up and go see it, immediately, and not have to wait until the weekend or something, because it could be sold by then. So being aggressive, knowing what you want, and having a good realtor that can help you write a good, smart offer are key to find a home. So that could take, you can find a home in a couple weeks or a couple showings, or it could take 2-3 months. It just depends on the buyer.
How much would they need for a down payment? What would you recommend?
There's a lot of programs out there. There's grants, and there's programs where you only have to put 3.5% down, which is very common. I guess it just depends, because it's a percentage of the purchase price. So it just depends. If someone's buying a $150,000 home, that down payment is about almost $8,000. And if you want to be safe and factor in moving expenses, you want to factor in that you're going to make some changes. People always like to buy new stuff, when they move. But to buy the home and close in it, I'd say anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the home. And then you always want to have budget more just in case you want to make some changes or buy new stuff.
And what would you say is a good interest rate?
I think right now they're in the threes. So, I mean, I had a buyer recently who their lender had them in the mid fours, and I thought that was high. I don't do the mortgage side, so I don't know entirely what's going on with the interest rates, but I did feel that was high, so I referred him to a different lender, and he got him down to like in the 3.7 or so. So he saved them almost 100%.
Okay, so the threes are
The threes, good, yeah, right? I would say mid threes are common right now.
Okay, so if I have bad credit and I purchase a home and my interest rate is in the fives or the sevens, would you recommend that I buy the home?
So from what I hear, they do go as low as 580 for a score, but then they may require a higher down payment and have a higher interest rate. So that's just entirely how much you want the home, at that time. It just depends.
Okay. Could you explain the difference between the title and the deed?
Well, the title company does their part. They're part of the transaction. After you pass the inspection and appraisal, they're the ones that check. They handle all the money and transferring it from buyer to the bank to the seller and all that stuff. The title work just kind of shows making sure that it's clean. There's no liens on the property or anything. The deed is like the actual document that says, you own this property. It's notarized and everything.
Okay, so
that's almost like having like a title to a car. The deed is.
Okay, so can someone own a home and not be on the title or not be on the deed?
So there's a couple different ways. So sometimes I may get clients that the wife needs to buy the home with the loan in her name, but the husband wants to feel included and will want his name on the deed as an owner. So after they close the deal, they'll have the title company draft up a document adding the husband as owner to the home on paper, even though he's not on the mortgage. So it is possible to not be on the mortgage but be owner of the home. Just like if I wanted to put my kids on my homes, A lot of people do that when they're getting very old and they don't want to have to deal with the process of probate and lawyers and a will. They will put their younger family on the title as the owner of the home. So if they pass, there's no question as to who owns the house now. It's my grandson owns it now. It's his now.
Okay. What's the cheapest and most expensive property that you've ever sold?
The cheapest might be, I don't know, a couple $1,000. And then the most expensive would be, I think, in the 400 range. I sold the property for.
So you sold a property for a couple $1,000?
Yeah.
How was that property?
It was very, very bad condition. It was a tax foreclosure from the city of Milwaukee. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them. And it's very, very poor condition. Just almost to the part of to just knock it down, I think some people might have bought it for that. I can't remember. But yeah, there's some pretty bad ones out there.
Could you explain the tax foreclosure?
Basically, you have property taxes that you owe to the city every year. And I believe once you get past a certain amount, it might be $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, I think, then they start a foreclosure process on you and they'll take the property from you.
Okay. Then how does a normal person go about obtaining that property?
There's a lot all over the city. I get a lot of calls about. The city has their process as to when they take it, and then whatever they're going to do with it, change the locks, and then they'll place it for sale on their website. So you could definitely contact the city or a real estate broker to purchase one of these homes. But there's more to it than just going and paying $2,000 for it. You have to show proof they have the funds to fix it also. So that's another reason why the homes may sit on the market so long, because the city may say that a property has is $2,000, but it needs $70,000 to fix it, and they want you to show proof that you have $70,000 cash, and not many people have $70,000 cash to show proof of to invest in a property.
If I was to buy a rental property, where would you say would be the best kind of environment to buy that rental property at?
I would guess, it depends, there's different levels to it, I guess. If you want to invest in an area where it's up and coming, where you could put finer finishes on a unit and then charge a lot higher rent. Those areas would be like more on the further south and east of the city. In those cities, there are some pockets on the northeast side of the city as well, and further northwest and farther out. But it just depends on what kind of property you want and what kind of return you want on your investment.
Okay. Has COVID affected the real estate market?
Not really, not for me. That year, it was very busy that winter, and it was very busy for a winter, so I kind of was like worried about how busy it would get that summer. And then the pandemic happened, and I think obviously everybody just slowed down at first, that month of it, that first month or so, I think it was February and March of 2020. But then right back in April, everything picked up again. People still got to sell homes. People still got to buy homes. So everything picked up again. And I was very busy in 2020.
Okay. Have you ever dabbled in the digital real estate, and what do you think about it?
Digital real estate meaning?
Like digital real estate, I know, it's very similar to digital car buying. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Carvana.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is it's like they show the house online. Someone can take like an online tour of the house. And
for me, like as if I'm selling somebody's house here and I offer like a virtual.
Yeah.
No, I was, even before the pandemic, I was doing video walkthroughs of properties, but the market was so hot and the homes that sell so fast. It was like I didn't need to do all that. So there are some agents who've tried to do that, and because of COVID, they do virtual showings and stuff like that. But I don't do any of that right now. No.
Okay.
If I have a property that's a very, very nice property, maybe I'll pay a videographer such as yourself to come, do a video of it with music and stuff. But like I said, the market's so hot right now that extra marketing is not needed right now. For me, at least.
Okay. Do you like being a broker?
Yeah. Some companies like to recruit and have tons of agents. I'm not really about that. Not that I don't want agents. I just don't want to take on the responsibility of basically someone's career and income and well-being based off of them joining the company. Like I said, I started on my own. I did everything on my own. So if someone wants to join and learn and such and help out, and I offer them support as they go along, then I'm all for it. I have a couple agents right now, but I enjoy being a broker. It's kind of an accomplishment in the industry, I guess, because there's no further up higher license I can get right now. So I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
Okay. And if someone wants to buy a home, how would they get in contact with you?
Multiple ways. I mean, I'm out all over social media, email. My office line is 414 key 4 zeros. It was 414-539-0000. And I'm always working. I don't treat it like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. My busier days are probably during the weekend. But yeah, I'm always working and always available. So.
All right. Sounds good. Well, it was nice chatting with you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right.